They told me, oh, there we are. Good morning again, everyone. Welcome to our commission chambers. I can't welcome you to the meeting because we need one more commissioner before we can have a quorum. So hopefully Commissioner Harris on the way. We know that our chairman is somewhere across the Pacific conducting business for economic purposes. And of course, Carmen Moore Ziegler is away as well. So we're expecting three of us today. You see Commissioner Walker, she's here looking gorgeous as normal.
Thank you. Oh my goodness gracious.
Yes.
What a kind compliment.
And so I suppose we'll wait. They told me we couldn't swear the sheriff in to sit here, so that would not be appropriate, would be unconstitutional, I heard, but anyway. So it's good to see you all, good to see your smiling faces. We're really going to get started as soon as Commissioner Harris gets here. I understand he's on the interstate. Yep. So is everybody okay this morning? Okay. Very good. Looking good. You're smiling well. It's just good to be in Montgomery County, Alabama, isn't it? Yeah. A great way of life. All our needs are being met according to his riches and glory. Yeah. But we also want to remember there are still a few people who are suffering from day to day, and we want to share resources with all of God's children so that we can all have the quality of life that every human being should be subject to. All right. So I suppose I'll go ahead and, well, we can't do anything now. I'll just be quiet. Yeah. Commissioner Walker said.
You don't have to fill the silence.
Commissioner Walker said yes. Well, I could sing a song.
But you could entertain.
Yeah, you want to.
I just want to let you know that there's work being done on the roof as part of our moving on with Montgomery County, yes. And they are relocating themselves shortly. So I apologize for any noise.
There will be some noise. Okay.
Not continue.
Sheriff Cunningham, do you have anything that's good for the order? Yeah, just want to say to the public in terms of. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Well, y'all know the fair is right around the corner, and don't forget that Thursday night we'll be doing the Taste of the Fair. So I would like for everybody to make sure you come out to the Taste of the Fair because this is going to be a beneficial cause because we're giving back money to the Cancer Wellness Foundation. So please come out, support this. We're planning on having a great time. Also, I'll be doing the jail and bail this weekend for the Duchess and Divas Youth Center. So if y'all want to help me make my bond, you can go to my website, MontgomerySheriff.com, and help me make my bond because I don't want to be in jail all day on Saturday because it's football games. I want to go to jail at 9. I want to have my bond made at 9:30. So I'm looking for y'all to call and come and pledge to get me out of jail. So I'll be looking for y'all. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Going to, in the interest of time, we have the director of, it's not Montgomery Area Food Bank anymore, and I'm sure he'll bring us up to date on what the new name is and perhaps where they're going. So if you would, sir, you can come up and speak to the audience.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm Michael Coleman. I'm the CEO of what is now the Heart of Alabama Food Bank. And thank you for the partnership that we have with the county and the city. Just a brief update on where we are and what we're diving into, some of our new initiatives. Of course, there's 32,000 residents in the county of Montgomery who suffer from food insecurity and hunger, and that's an ongoing battle. We just finished our fiscal year at the end of June. And last year, we provided 3.6 million meals to the residents of Montgomery. And so that's obviously the bulk of Montgomery gets the lion's share of most of what we do. And but now we're moving past just the food distribution and trying to get in some other areas, targeted groups. Some of those we have focused on vet hunger. We have a lot of vets in our area, of course, and we have some that are really struggling to make ends meet. Can't work for all sorts of disability reasons and all sorts of other reasons, mental health reasons, that battle that. We also are in campus hunger, where we're providing pantries to not only the community colleges, but also the four-year colleges from ASU, fixing to get into AUM, and some of the other partnerships that we have. And then lastly, we are getting into health equity space, where we're going to be helping people who are leaving the hospitals and are battling diseases and special treatments, but are going home to houses that don't have the proper nutrition they should have, to address those in partnership with our health system as well. So we're moving forward boldly into a lot of space that we haven't been before, and we feel like we're making a huge impact. And so thank you for your partnership and your leadership, and I look forward to this year and even the greater impact we're going to have in the Montgomery area.
Michael, thank you for your presentation. Most of us, I think, have had an opportunity to come by and see the facility, what you've done in the past 6 months, let's say. Share with everybody just a couple of, you've been very innovative. You are an innovative leader, and you have taken a food bank that covers a huge swath of the state of Alabama, and you've done a lot of innovative things. Will you share just a couple of the big changes that you've made at the food bank, please?
Yeah, so one of the things we're doing is a lot of it is just a cultural thing, where we have to understand it's not just about moving food from one place to the other. It's about serving people and meeting their needs. So just rethinking it from the customer's perspective, and the ones that we're reaching out to are not only our pantries, because just in Montgomery alone we have 89 pantries, but across the whole spectrum we have 35 counties that we serve. We have over about 650 agencies through those 35 counties that are helping us distribute the food, so there's these partnerships. But in the past, I think we haven't been as focused on looking at the situation of hunger and food insecurity through the eyes of those that we're serving. So I could talk about individual initiatives, but largely it's about understanding how to best serve them and then us adapting to them, rather than having people who oftentimes don't have the ability to innovate and change, adapting to how we want to do business. So trying to be more customer-centric and focused on their needs, and willing to go the extra mile to make sure that anybody who is wrestling with hunger and food insecurity has their needs met.
Thank you.
Any other questions regarding the food bank? Just want to welcome Commissioner Harris here. You see how important it is, how important attendance is. We can't conduct business unless we are present. So we're going to go ahead and open the, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
If you'd like to take this opportunity to present the proclamation.
We do have a proclamation? Ken, where are you? I can certainly read it. Let me come down and get close to you. It's a very short proclamation. So
Sorry.
just stand next to you. Anybody else here from your organization? Yeah, will you all come up, please?
Jessica Horsley and Morgan Gad, what's your name? Menifee.
Oh, I wouldn't have known that either.
Okay, so on behalf of the Montgomery County Commission, I want to read the resolution, then present it to you, and thank you again for the work
Dan.
that you all are doing every day. I know I have several organizations in my district that benefit from what you all do, and we appreciate you all for loading up the trucks and getting them where they need to be. So here it reads as follows: whereas according to Feeding America, whereas according to Feeding America, over 34 million people in the United States, including 9 million children, are considered food insecure. And whereas over 14% of Montgomery County residents are food insecure, and whereas studies have shown that food insecurity coincides with negative social and health outcomes. Thank you, sir. Whereas many organizations such as nonprofits, faith-based groups, and food banks serve individuals facing food insecurity in Montgomery County. And whereas the Heart of Alabama Food Bank, our local Feeding America affiliate based in Montgomery County, works with dozens of these agencies across the Montgomery area to fight hunger and food insecurity. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Montgomery County Commission designates September as Hunger Month in Montgomery County and encourages all residents to assist in fighting hunger and food insecurity in our community. Presented this 19th day of September 2023, and is signed by all 5 of the commissioners. And we want to thank you all for what you do every day in regards to feeding those who are hungry and addressing food insecurity in Montgomery County and across the region that you all serve. Thank you so much. Florence, are there any other proclamations or resolutions today? All right, so,
So I believe now you could call the meeting to order.
okay, we're calling the meeting to order for this September 19, 2023 of Montgomery County Commission. And we'll start with prayer, and I'll do the prayer. If you all would bow with me, please. Father, in the name of Jesus, we come before you today to say thank you for your grace and mercy. We thank you, Lord God, that you are able to meet our needs both collectively and individually, and you know what our needs are. And so we just thank you for this day, Lord God. Help us to be all that you've meant for us to be this day. And we're not going to give any thought to tomorrow, because in your word you say that tomorrow is sufficient to take care of the things of itself. And so we just thank you for this day. We ask that you would rest, rule, and abide with us as we move forth in this body to conduct the business of the Montgomery County Commission. We thank you now. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. So I guess the first order of business would be to read the agenda.
Right, this morning we'll be hearing from Sheriff Derek Cunningham, Chief Administrator Michael Burdell with the District Attorney's Office, Deputy Administrator Kendall Anderson, and Risk Manager Melissa Peak. The items to be considered in the formal session are the proposed 23-24 Construction Programs Fund Budget, the proposed 2023-24 Operating Budget, including the pay plan and position funding, consider a resolution regarding GASB 54 fund balance commitments, consider county classification and pay study, consider budget change request number 9 regarding expenditures for economic tourism projects, consider changing the pay grade of cook from pay grade A04, consider an unbudgeted position fill request for the youth detention facility, consider an ADM grant application for county stormwater projects, consider an application to pursue the 2023 Alabama Power Foundation Gateway Grant, consider a memorandum of understanding with One Place Family Justice Center, consider a memorandum of agreement for Helping Montgomery Families Initiative, consider miscellaneous appropriations to agencies. Are there any additions? Consider miscellaneous appropriations to education.
I have a couple. I'm about to hand them to you. I'll write them down.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Consider miscellaneous appropriations from designated revenue. Consider an RFP award to the bridge to manage and operate Davis transitions. Consider a bid award to Bond Construction for re-roofing Annex 1. Consider a bid award to Bonded Filter Company to provide air filters and service to various county buildings. Consider the reappointment of Albert Holloway and Robert Steindorf as board members to the Joint Public Charity Hospital Board. Consider the reappointment of Sam Munnerlin and Raytheon Scott as board members to the Montgomery County Board of Human Resources. Consider the reappointment of Leslie Sanders, Jonathan Avant, and Florence Cauthen as board members to the Montgomery County Community Cooperative District. Consider the appointment of Dick Brubaker as a board member to the Montgomery County Community Cooperative District. Consider travel training requests for the Board of Registrars, Community Corrections, the County Commission, grants, probate, and the Sheriff's Office. Those are all of our items.
On a couple of items on the agenda. First of all, I want to ask about the ADM grant for stormwater mitigation. The engineers are here. Has that project already begun? Okay. Okay, and so I'm also wondering, you think we're gonna meet the points requirement? I understand there's a certain amount of points that we have to satisfy the grant requirement from ADM. And so are you concerned that we may or may not meet the point requirement? And if so, I guess we'll continue with the project regardless. Okay. Okay, so that the money that, and I understand that the money that ADM might provide through this stormwater mitigation grant is strictly for the pipes, the concrete pipes that will be placed in to help mitigate the stormwater. Okay, and so is that, even if we don't get the grant, that's in your budget over there at the Department of Engineering?
Yes, sir, we just pulled it out of our pre-arm county gas.
Okay, anybody else have any questions about that? And also, Commissioner Walker was concerned, no question about the, oh, okay, very good. All right, very good. Okay, we'll proceed, Florence, thank you.
All right, we will hear from the sheriff.
I feel fortunate I get to talk 2 times. Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good.
The sheriff's here to ask that you waive rules to consider hiring an administrative support specialist at pay grade AO4, step 5.
Yes, that's going to be the person that we're hiring to assist with our purchasing for the sheriff's office.
And I spoke with you about that this
Yes,
morning,
sir.
Sheriff, and you said that was already in the budget.
Yeah, this is the position we already had approved. I'm requesting this due to the fact that she comes with years of experience in the banking world, and not only that, she did audits as well. So she is very, very, very overly qualified for this position, and we're just glad to get her.
And you mentioned that the salary would be specifically.
Step 5.
Sir, yeah,
Step
but what is that in terms of
37.
dollars? Okay.
37. Start.
Anyone have any questions about that? Anyone opposed to waiving rules?
Not opposed.
No? Okay.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir.
Michael Riddell is here with items number 2 and 3.
Good morning, Commissioners. I agree that Commissioner Walker looks gorgeous as usual.
Thank you,
And
everybody.
Commissioner Harris and Commissioner Sankey, you're looking dashing as well.
Sheriff, you forgot to tell me how gorgeous I look this morning.
Whatever it is, whatever it is you're after, you can't have it.
Oh, no. The Violence Against Women Prosecution Unit that the District Attorney's Office has been in place for more than 20 years. It's been funded throughout that entire time by ADECA. It allows us to dedicate one deputy district attorney to focus exclusively on crimes in which adult women are the victims. That helps us with continuity through the entire process, from the arrest, grand jury, the trial, and the sentencing. And we are hopeful that you'll give us permission to pursue this grant once again this year. There is a match requirement of $29,207.03, but that's going to be paid for with the reserves from the District Attorney's Office and have no impact on the county's general fund. This year, ADECA is also providing a new twist where they are allowing entities to apply for victim services workers, and we're seeking to do that as well. The match requirement there is $15,271.96. That too, if approved by ADECA, would be paid for by reserves from the District Attorney's Office without any impact on the county's general fund.
Any questions for Mr. Burdell?
I don't have any questions, and I don't have any objection to waiving rules on this item.
Is it way rule item, Bill?
That's
It
two
is.
of them.
Yes,
The
sir.
grant date is
The 29th.
coming up quickly.
Okay. No wonder everybody look pretty.
Your genetics take care of that for you all, for sure.
I'll waive rules.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Mr. Burdell.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Yes, sir.
Item number 4 is consider a bid award for the rebuilding of Flatwood Community Center. Kendall can address that item.
Good morning. On Tuesday, 29th, we did have 2 bidders. Only one was able to submit a bid cost in their proposal. That was Stallings & Son with a base bid of $1,135,489. All of our minority and women-owned business documentation was submitted with the bid and was in proper order. We did seek to get some value engineering done, but it was negligible, only about $7,000. So it is, at this point, is our recommendation that we move forward with this project to award the bid to Stallings & Sons in the amount of $1,135,489.
Did we ever get a square footage on that building?
2,900 square feet.
What does that make it, the cost per square foot? Somebody do the math for me.
It's $370.
Per square foot
Yes, ma'am.
in North Montgomery. That's insane.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, I say that's insane, but do we agree? I know that risk management's been involved in vetting this out. Our administrative staff has been involved in vetting this out. I know Stallings & Sons has, again, gone back and value engineered. This is just how much it's going to cost.
Yes, this is, as we spoke briefly, there was the thought that, of course, it wouldn't cost this much and that this price is high. And speaking with Stallings & Sons and some other general contractors, subcontractors are coming in high because there is so much money out there to do construction jobs. And so subcontractors can kind of come in high. And as we've spoken, even with these subs being high, they were the lowest sub that submitted. So it really just goes to show where construction is in some places. And so
How were we insured on this? Were we 100% self-insured, or were we?
That was my question to Melissa, and we're hopeful that we get additional insurance dollars.
What was the answer to the question?
Melissa, do you want to come?
Can you tell us now?
So, when it comes to the insurance, we did receive an initial payment, and forgive me, I do not have those notes in front of me, but, it was in the neighborhood, I want to say $393,000. And then that was that was also considering a $100,000 wind deductible. We do have the opportunity to get more funds, and work with the insurance company to
Oh,
get
so that
more
was the initial?
funds. That's the initial,
The
yes.
deductible was 100,000?
Yes, sir.
And the initial payment was usually what they pay you less depreciation?
Correct, correct.
And then you'll get the depreciated value
Right,
on the back
right.
end. So did we have replacement value?
We do, but, and I do need to also mention that within the plans, there were some upgrades to the building that are different than the original structure that was built back in the 60s.
What was the value of the upgrades, do you recall?
I have not, I've just seen this bid, a few days ago, so I do not know, I do not know the difference in the value of the upgrades. Because I myself have just seen this bid within the last week.
Okay, I know we need to get started on getting the building redone and getting all that, but I'd really like to be clear on what.
I also would like to bear down and look further into those cost estimations.
Really, I mean, if I don't know what we're paying for premiums, but if it's going the way my automobile premiums are going, and they're saying that's because repair charges are higher.
Yes.
Then insurance companies need to be paying more
Right.
if they're gonna charge you
Right.
more in premiums.
Yes.
I guess what I'm getting, and then I wanna make sure that we're, moving forward, that if we have $100,000 deductible, then the rest is gonna be replacement.
Right, absolutely. And our policy is replacement cost. And like I said, the initial payment was based upon a visual estimation at the time that the loss happened. Economic factors also play into this, and now we have this bid, that we really need to take time to look at and see, how we can claim additional monies, from the insurance company. But as I said, I've only seen this bid within the last week, so I've not had an opportunity to break out those costs and what we can collect back.
Is it something we ought to be voting on today? Is it something that we should,
We're not voting on it today.
huh?
We're not voting today.
We're gonna move it to the next agenda?
I mean,
Yes, it's on
the-
information session, so it would be for next agenda.
Okay, in the meantime, between now and then, let's try to clear up some of the questions that's been raised.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
So we can get a better understanding of it. I understand the cost. I mean, Lord knows we realize it with Whitewater, if we didn't realize anything else, that the cost of things are going up. But
Yes,
we want to make sure that we're covered.
yes.
Uh,
And I will say, I think that my biggest concern, I think that the cost comes from the cost of labor right now. I think that that's probably where the largest difference is.
And I'm understandable of that, but I just want to make sure that the insurance company pick up that. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what we're buying insurance for.
Right, and we do have room to collect more money.
Okay.
So, Kendall, will you be working with Melissa to make sure she gets what she needs? 'Cause that
Yes,
was-
she has an initial breakdown of the cost per line item and all the activities that will occur. She's forwarded that on to the insurance. What we're waiting on is, if the insurance will need, if they will use that as a determination to provide us with more funding, or if they're gonna need some more in detailed information, which we will then have to get from the GC. So, we're always happy to help with as much information as we can, so we can figure out how to make this more cost-effective for the county.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for the work that you've done in addition to Florence and the architect, and of course, the people in Flatwood. I want to thank you all for being patient. It's been a long time. I know I was out there. The place looked desolate, and I'm sure that a community center would certainly add some value to the surroundings and to the quality of life that you all have every right to enjoy. I would hope that we could at least move this to the next agenda pending the information of working with Melissa to get her what she needs to make sure that we've gotten everything we can from the insurance company. So want to put this on the next agenda, Florence.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Well, Melissa, while you're up there, you can,
I'm next.
yes.
Okay. I don't think I had the opportunity before, but good morning. I'm happy to be here to speak to you today. I actually have 2 items on the agenda. The first item is presented for your consideration, a scope of work for the cleanup efforts with the Downtown Environmental Alliance. We are part of this group. We've been part of it for 7, 8 years, and we split the costs of the cleanup of this PCE plume with several other entities, and they have presented their budget for the next fiscal year, and this item has been budgeted and is presented for your approval.
What's our share on this?
I'm sorry?
What's our share of this?
14%.
I mean dollars.
Dollars. It says on here, the total would be $15,325 for the whole year.
That's our share.
Yes, sir.
I hope there's an end to this thing somewhere.
According to what ADEM has approved to this point, they're going to continue to monitor the wells for the next 3 years, and if we continue to get favorable results, they'll start to close out those wells. So little by little, it is looking promising that we can get this finalized at
I
one
was
point.
under the impression that this process had actually gone away. I don't know. It seems like we talked about that at a previous meeting, and ADM had done something to satisfy.
I think the threat of having the whole downtown area declared environmentally unsafe, I guess. I mean, for lack of a better term, that's gone away.
Okay.
I mean, there's been some kind of compromise with
Right.
ADM and the feds. That part is, we're safe on, but we still need to monitor it.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. Thank you for that clarification. I knew it was something that we had talked about. That
We dodged a bullet.
was
It
big.
was on the verge of being declared. What kind of zone they declare 'em?
Superfund.
Yeah.
Superfund site,
Yeah.
which is the death knell to economic development in any area.
Yes, ma'am.
That was a bullet dodge.
We dodged that bullet, but it's not like it didn't cost us.
Yeah.
Hasn't been costing us. It's something we've been dealing with since I've been on this commission.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that a next agenda item?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. You have one more.
All right, I do have one more. This is the annual renewal for inmate healthcare services with NaphCare. I work in conjunction with the sheriff's office to evaluate and manage the inmate healthcare program at the county detention facility. And they have presented their renewal agreement for your consideration.
Did we're always concerned about money and the cost of services that we provide. Now, do you have any comments on whether or not there was an increase in this particular contract?
There is a increase of 3%, which is below the national average for medical professional services. I think that the inflation rate is actually, a national average is at 4% or more in some areas. NaphCare, I will say that they've done a tremendous job with the healthcare services in the detention facility. We were able to achieve accreditation, and the number of incidents and issues have declined tremendously. I will also say that NaphCare is not the very cheapest, but they provide the standard of care that we need to provide for the inmates. But they're not the low, they're not the cheapest, but they're not the highest either. We've seen other bids of similar services much higher than this. So they've done a great job, and we would like to continue with that partnership.
And how is the scope of mental health service? I know there's a lot of talk about mental health these days, in particular with incarcerated individuals. So is there any concern that we're not delivering the quality and the scope of mental health services?
I've not been aware that we've not been able to meet the needs of mental health at this time. Sheriff Cunningham may be able to speak to that more. He's there with the day-to-day operations. But we have they have a psychiatrist, mental health professional on their staff that's part of the staffing matrix, and they have a psychiatric nurse practitioner that also comes in and works with those who exhibit mental health symptoms.
Okay. And before the sheriff comes, I know he's more than capable of speaking for what's happening over there. Are we also concerned at this point about additional medical costs? I know that's been always year after year. We've come back to say that we had so many dollars spent in outside costs, even though we're spending over $3 million, close to $4 million a year for these services. Can you speak to whether or not we're incurring any outside expenses to continue to provide the quality of care, health care for that particular population?
We do. I mean, there are instances where we have to send someone out that need care at a hospital. But I managed to rework the agreement for the inmate billing, for the outside care program that we're supposed to yield savings on for those services. We are having fewer and fewer send-outs, as we call them. They're able to do more within the walls of the infirmary. And plus, the other issue with the costs increasing was that the average daily population was much higher in the last few years than previously because of COVID. Courts were not in session, we could not transfer inmates, so that also meant that we had to continue to provide their care. But now that things are, under somewhat normal conditions from an operational standpoint, we're seeing that the outside costs are becoming more manageable.
Do you have any dollar figures at this point in terms of what we spent outside of this particular contract?
I do not have that here with me, but I did present some information back, I believe it was in April or May, when I presented the change to Heritage Health Solutions as our outside medical billing provider. So I'll be happy to, if you would like to see that, I'll be happy to send that to you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you
All right.
for what you do.
Thank you.
Sheriff, you had some comments perhaps? If not,
I'm just here to
okay, well,
He's
that's.
my
okay.
backup.
I see. Okay.
Thank you,
Very
Melissa.
good, very good.
Thank you very much.
Okay, is that the next agenda item?
Yes, sir. The next item to be considered is the amendment number 2 to a contract to Outdoor Obsessions for grounds maintenance for county parks.
Any questions about that?
Next agenda.
Next agenda.
The general information item we have is to consider the economic impact of the Montgomery Smooth Jazz Festival. Commissioner Walker had asked for some additional information at the last meeting. This is what Commissioner Moore Ziegler was able to provide from the finance office at the city. I had asked for revenues and expenses and have not received that.
Anybody have any questions about that? Commissioner Walker, you have any follow-up questions? Or you still waiting to?
No, well, I would have liked to have seen the revenues and expenses. I do realize, based on the information that was sent over from the city, there are, there are things that we do that we pay for simply to enhance the quality of life for the citizens of Montgomery. I still feel that it is a significant ask when you compare it to some of the other comparable events that we have in Montgomery and what we contribute to those events, but I'm willing to listen to my colleagues' thoughts on it.
The dollar amount again that the county has been asked for?
I believe the request was for 170,000 last year. The commission provided 120,000.
So what has changed? What's the $50,000 difference all about? Anybody? No?
Well, I don't know, but they couldn't quantify that in the information that they sent over.
Commissioner Harris, you are a jazz enthusiast.
I'm headed to Monterey Thursday, so,
All the way, that's
Monterey
Monterey,
Jazz.
California.
exactly,
Oh, wow, that's, okay.
to the Monterey Jazz Festival. So I won't be here for this one, no.
So do you have any concerns?
I don't know, y'all have a good time. Because I'm gonna have a good time. No, I don't know, I think that, I've long been an advocate, that Montgomery needs to have not just one, but signature events, that draw people, from around the country and around the world to us at least once a year. You know, Monterey is probably a third of the size of Montgomery, but once a year, people come to little old Monterey, California from all over the world, and they spend millions, you know, for those 3 days. And then we come back here and live in Alabama for a year and then head back to California the next year. But my point is, I guess, I've been an advocate of that, and I think that's what the city's trying to do. I saw the figures, and 1 year is not enough to know or to have any idea what the economic impact something like this would have on the event. I can tell you that the one that I go to in Florida was started in Destin, and it was all we could do to get 7,000 people there when it was in Destin. Now, you can't get in that place sideways. It's in Panama City at Pier Point, and it is jam-packed, and people crowd in there every year from around the world. And Pensacola has started one, and it's growing in that same fashion. So I guess what I'm getting at, I'd like to be a partner with the city if that is what they're trying to do, to establish something. And that's not the only thing. I can remember years ago we had, and I wasn't living here then, I used to come home for Jubilee. I mean, this thing drew people from all over the state and from people from out of state. I don't know what happened, why we quit. It was a great thing for the city. We need to be known for something. We're known for civil rights. We're known for Cradle of Confederacy. We're known for those kind of things, but we need something like Whitewater is going to draw a lot of people here into this town. We need that type of influence on Montgomery, I think, for Montgomery to have the type of impact that I think this commission wants to see on the quality of life around Montgomery. We're going to have those types of events occurring in Montgomery that can draw individuals from around the country and around the world. So, I mean, I said all that to say, yes, I support what's happening. There's not enough information here to know what we're going to do, but whatever, I'm going to support whatever we want to give them. I want to support it.
Okay, well, let's move that to the
But
next.
I want our partnership. The other thing on that, and this is between us and the city, our partnership on this thing has to be clear. You know, I mean, what's going to be our role? Is our role just pay the money and shut up, or pay the money and have influence on what it's going to be like and what we're going to do?
What are the dates for this jazz festival in Montgomery? Of September. Is this weekend?
It's this weekend, because we leave Thursday.
So so that's your part of planning and coordinating. It's next weekend. It's this weekend.
We can't. I mean, it's hard to do, but that's my stance on it. I see the need for it. I understand the concept and the idea and support it. So whatever level you want to do, but whatever level it is, let us have an understanding of just what.
Well, do we have time to even get that
Right.
level of understanding?
We said that last year. because we paid at the last minute last year and said, well, we want to be involved in the planning and we'd like to be around the table for our $120,000 or $170,000. So we're a week out.
Well, whatever your pleasure is on it.
Well, I would recommend that we fund them at the level we funded last year, because I can't explain that $50,000 gap. Well, you all in agreement with that, right, two fellow commissioners?
How much?
There was $120,000 last year. Can we go with that?
You realize we're giving them that much?
Are you recommending we do this today or move it to
Well,
the next agenda?
Well, I thought you said that the event was prior to the next meeting.
It is.
So I don't know how we can, anybody
Well,
have?
I mean,
When
we,
did they make the ask?
Clearly, everything's already paid for, and this is going to be retroactively given.
Anybody here
we
from?
could,
Nobody here to talk about that from the city, I don't suppose.
you all could approve a budget change at the next meeting to authorize the payment,
Okay, all right.
or
Well,
it could be on the next agenda.
why don't we put it on the next agenda? That's a little more comfortable in terms of whatever we're gonna do, in terms of, a budget change.
Next
agenda at okay.
Is that what you're saying?
Well, now that, if we can put it on the next agenda and talk about it, doesn't have to be a specific dollar amount at this point.
Well, they're gonna have to start planning on some other weekend other than Monterey Weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I wanna go, but
But Florence, you do have time to get some information, even though it's, it would have taken place already. You have time to get additional information.
We've asked and asked.
Okay,
We
so,
asked for that after the last meeting.
okay.
And they did send us information.
Okay,
They
so
sent us everything they've got to
The
send.
next agenda for $120,000. Thank you.
I believe that's all the items for the information session, unless there are other things.
Anything else, fellow commissioner? Well, we'll take a, 7-minute break, and we'll start at 10. Okay?
All right.
Thank you.